An executor is an individual or a trust company that has the authority to settle the estate, wind it up, and distribute the assets to the beneficiaries. And it's not always necessarily a member of the family. Often people choose their accountant or their lawyer, someone that they trust and that has some expertise.
But say you have one of those, like an accountant or a lawyer in your family, should you use that person who's in the family, or is it too emotionally charged?
I think it's a good idea to use someone in your family because they understand you, they'll respect your wishes, and they have, they have the background with you. But it's important that they do have the expertise as well, because it's not a job to be taken lightly. There's a lot of responsibilities, including, could include making funeral arrangements, paying taxes and debts, filing income tax returns, managing and selling the assets, and then, as I said, distributing to the beneficiaries.
Why should you have power of attorney too?
Okay, well, it's become common now to have powers of attorney prepared when you're having your will done. And what a power of attorney does is it gives the person with the power of attorney the authority to make decisions on your behalf in the event that you become incapacitated. So if something were to happen to you. And there's two types. There's a power of attorney over property, which allows them to make financial decisions on your behalf. And then power of attorney for personal care, which deals more with medical treatment and medical care.
Like so many other students, she's had absolutely no financial education. Financial literacy is not taught in schools. It is not part of the curriculum. So with someone like Narissa, I really have to start from square one. These are your credit card statements here, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think you're only paying the minimum balance every month. Is that right?
Yeah, a little bit more. I try to do what I can.
But did you realize that when you put it on the credit card, that unless you pay it off at the end of the month, that the interest clock starts ticking at that 19%?
I didn't know that, actually.
Credit cards are important for building a credit history, but you have to use them responsibly. When you open your statement and you see the minimum payment, don't even look at that number, ignore it. Focus on what the balance owing is. You have to pay, if you can, the whole balance so that you don't start accruing interest.
So you had a portfolio. What made you decide to get this second opinion?
Well, I had been looking for a professional sounding board, and I wanted somebody that was sophisticated and knowledgeable, but that did not have their own hidden agenda and who would not have a conflict of interest. And I was also, as Warren mentioned earlier, unwilling to submit myself to the sales pressure of yet another advisor. I read an article about Warren and the service, and I had one of those aha moments, and I thought, oh my goodness, this service exists now. And up until then, I didn't think there was such a thing.
So what would be the number one benefit that you personally got out of it? Never mind the fact that you're now employed, but the fact that when you look at your portfolio, like, what did you walk away when you said you had the aha moment? What was the next aha?
I think it was the fact that I did not have to commit to an ongoing relationship with an advisor that I wasn't sure had my best interests at heart. So it could be a one-time deal with Warren, or if I felt I wanted to go back for a subsequent checkup or monitoring, I could do that too. But I knew what I would be paying for, and I didn't have that fear of a relationship that may not work out, because I had been burned in the past.
Clearly, Jeff is highlighting this for us. I should have some in fixed income.
Okay, well, not having a diversified portfolio is obviously one. Paying too much in fees is another.
How much is too much?
Well, it depends on your perspective, I guess. There are now so many good products out there, like exchange-traded funds. We've talked about this. I'm a big fan of those, and they're very cost-efficient. And people don't realize that over time, the fees can really erode the portfolio performance. It's sort of like the flip side of investing early and getting the compounding. If you're paying too much in fees over time, you're really eroding the performance of your portfolio.
All right, so you've got diversification, global diversification, watching the fees. What else are you looking for?
Simplification.
Simplification. What do you mean by that?
Well, just keeping the portfolio simple and not too complicated. Some people have so many different advisors managing so many different silos of money, and it's really hard to get a big picture. You got to know what is coming in every month and what is going out. So that's the first place to start, is you want to try and build a cash flow for yourself.
Okay.
So what am I bringing in every month from work and my other sources of revenue, and what am I spending?
So should you put it on a spreadsheet so you can see it?
There's also lots of tools available online. Lots of the big banks have planning sections on their websites where there's tools that you can punch in your numbers and it will do all the math for you. You don't have to be good at doing spreadsheets. It does it for you. And then once you have an idea of what your net cash flow is, you can start building a spending plan or a budget from that. So once you have a fair idea of where the money's going, start looking at those categories and fine tuning. Do I really want to be spending that much on this? Can I cut back here or there? Depends on what your objectives are. What they call a latte factor, which is, you know, the little indulgences, whether it is the big latte or if it's magazines or gum or whatever you happen to do. And those are the areas that people can cut back if they want to save maybe $5, $10 a day over a week, a month. That definitely adds up. So you kind of try to figure out.
$10 a day.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
It can add up, right?
That's like
over
$50
time.
at the end of the week.
Yep. And if you put that into your RSP, where it can compound free of taxes over time.
Or your children's college fund.
Right.
I'm saying this
It
because these two
definitely
love the
adds up.
$5 coffees. That's the only reason.
Oh,
why I'm
that
saying that.
definitely, or eating
happens.
lunch out at work, whatever it is, bringing your lunch more often. Those little indulgences can add up. So that's a good place to start for people. So start tracking your spending, figuring out where you're spending your cash, and see if you can cut that back and put it away.
When you say track your spending, sorry, I just want to, because I'm going to do this. Do you have to write down how much I spend every day? Like one day, just write down?
Or for a week, I would
for a
actually
week.
suggest taking either a little journal or keeping all your receipts and tracking it and actually calculating at the end of the week, well, here's how it broke down between these different categories. And then you'll see, I could really cut back on this, or I could completely cut this out.
I'm going to do that.
And it will add up. The fashion world likes you to think that when you buy good quality like that, they're classics, you'll have them forever.
For
but
decades.
It's a consumption item.
Fine.
It really is. Think about it. Does it go up in value? Is there a resale value for it? Are you ever going to get what you paid for them? No. People have to understand that once it's gone, it's gone. I mean, that it's wonderful to have a lovely celebration, but that money could start you off in your life together. You know,
Your home.
could
A house.
to down payment on a house.
Yeah.
I mean, so many things. So they have to really understand the choices that they're making, that once that money is spent on the wedding, they've kind of given up an opportunity to put it to another use. So it goes back to their values. What is their vision for themselves as a couple? What's most important to them? Is it security? Is it adventure? Is it fun? Is it, you know, what kind of people are they? And do they agree on that?